Have you ever looked back on some of your old relationships and you just couldn't figure out what went wrong? Well, there was a psychologist. His name was Gary Chapman, and he did a lot of couples counseling. And sometimes he discovered that the couples loved each other. However, they just didn't seem to be speaking the same love language. So, in his counseling, he discovered that there's five basic love languages. That means the way that you express love. Let me adjust my seat a little. So, what could that make a difference? Well, because if you're not speaking the same love language, then someone could easily think that you don't love them or you're not expressing love in the way they can receive love. So, would you like to know what they are? In no particular order. And as I talk about each one, you're going to get an idea of, yeah, that's me. Now, usually you have one really big love language and then maybe two, and the rest you just got to work on. But it's important to realize and recognize them in other people. Now, this doesn't just apply to romantic love, it also applies to all different kinds. So, one of the love languages is, shoot, can you see that? Touch. Actually, that's one of my favorite. Touch, what does that mean? That you express love or recognition through touch. Now, how might this play out for you? You might, you'll notice people, now that I'm talking about it, you're going to notice people who have the love language of touch. When they come up to you, they'll touch you on the shoulder, take your hand, and they won't take it real hard, maybe a nice firm shake, but they will love touching. And this is a love language that even little babies, they just crave human touch. And as we grow older, sometimes we get out of the habit of touching, or we don't feel we deserve touching. Things can happen, but touch is one way to express not just romantic love, but love yourself. Actually, you can even touch yourself and it feels really good. So, what are we going to talk about next? That's one. These are not in any particular order. So, I'm getting some feedback in the chat. Yeah, we love the touchy stuff. So, words of affirmation. Can you read that? Yeah, I got to get the light just right. Words of affirmation. Now, what is that? That is when you're uplifting, when you like to say nice things to people. And when you have this natural love language, it feels so freaking good to say nice things to people. It gives you a little charge. Now, words of affirmation is one of mine, and I'm always so shocked when people say mean things. It's like beyond me that people could really do that. But when you say words of affirmation, that is such a gift. You can be such an uplifter. Somebody can be having a bad day and you can just say a good word of affirmation or encouragement to them. Find something nice to say about someone. There are things, and it's important to be authentic, to find something nice to say, or even a smile will lift your spirits up. And I have gone up to complete strangers, mostly women, and told them, you know what? That color looks so good on you. You look fabulous today. And wow, you should see the change in their energy. So far we've covered touch, words of affirmation. Now we're going to a third one, which is Gift giving. Can you see that? My daughter's a teacher and she likes flashcards, so I like them too. Gift giving. What does that mean? You express feelings by giving gifts. It really makes you happy to give gifts. One of my children had that as a love language, and bless her little heart, when she was just a little bitty girl, she didn't have any money. She would go outside and she would pick up rocks and she would bring them in and color them and make them all pretty. And then she would get just notebook paper and she would color it and she would make it all pretty, and she would find some Scotch tape and she would give them as presents to people. She had the love language of gift giving. She loved to give gifts. It made her feel so great. And you know what? It made people that received the gifts feel great too. Next, we're going to talk about quality time. Here's my other little flashcard. Now, what is that? One of my son-in-laws has this as a love language. He just loves spending time with my daughter and his family. And he always just comes straight home from work and he wants to have quality time with his significant others. That's how he expresses love. Now, what if someone had a love language of quality time and yet maybe you just wanted to be touched? You might not feel that you were being loved unless you recognize, oh, that's how they express love. When I look back on some of my old relationships, I noticed that things would have been different if I would have understood the way they were trying to express love to me, and if they would have understood the way I was trying to express love for them. So we've covered 4. We've covered touch, words of affirmation, quality time, and gift giving. Now let's cover number 5, which is acts of service. What does that mean? You express love by doing things for someone. That makes you feel loved and loving. One of my brothers has the love language of acts of service. And not only does he do things for his wife, like washing her car, filling it up with gas, mowing the lawn, he even mows the neighbor lady's lawn. She's like in her 80s and not able to do it. He loves doing acts of service, and that's how he expresses his love and care of someone. And here's something to think about. The way that you like to receive love is often the same way that you give love, but sometimes it's a little different. I can use myself for an example. One of my main love language is touch. I actually was deprived of touch as a child. My family was not affectionate at all. No hugging, no kissing, none of that. And so that could be one reason why I just love touch. And that's one. And secondary is words of affirmation. I love giving uplifting words. Now, to receive love, I do love to be touched. However, words of affirmation aren't that important for me to receive. It feels more blessed for me to give words of affirmation than to receive them. So when you're thinking about your own self, what makes you feel loved? How do you like to receive love? How do you like to express your love? You can tell it's your love language because it feels so good to your heart. It's like you can't stop yourself from doing it. So that's a little bit of information about the 5 love languages and how you can use them not just in relationships for a significant other, but also you can use these love languages in relationships in business. For instance, if you paid attention to your employees and you noticed that one's love language was words of affirmation, you would serve them very well to always be telling them what a good job they're doing and lifting them up. Someone else might be inspired by an award or some kind of gift that you would give. Actually, Gary Chapman wrote several different kinds of books about the 5 love languages, the 5 love languages for teens, for business, for the single guy, for the married couple, all kind of ways. So that's just a little bit about the 5 love languages. You never know what we're going to talk about here. Just know that it's always going to be something good. And oh, I want to read something in the chat. Amar says, I feel great to have love flowing through me towards whatever I put my attention towards. Ooh, that's good. And that brings me to something that I like to talk about, and that is the greatest treasure in all of the cosmos is a human heart giving love on purpose. You know, animals just seem to sort of love, but isn't it true that we have to choose love? We have to choose love. So, hope that was helpful. I'll be back real soon with another helpful video.